Hi and welcome back to VR Puppet Builds. Today I want to show you an idea that I came up with for storing your puppets. I looked around on the internet and I knew what I wanted in my mind, but I just wasn't sure how to build it. And I came across this shoe rack, and it came in a big long box and you assemble it, but that's what it looks like. And I've put it on the back of my door and it works really well to store your puppets on. I can get 12 puppets on this rack. But what I've done here, I wanted to support the head because this part here only supports the body of the puppet. And so to come up with an idea for supporting the head, I went to the cheap shop and bought some pool noodles. And what I've done is cut them down and put a little slit on one end, and I've cable tied it over the middle section. So 3 of these little racks here take up 1 puppet, so you get 2 puppets on each row. And then in the middle little piece of wire here, that's where I've strapped my noodle over. So first I'll just show you what I did to cut the noodle up. Now the length of the noodle, I got 3 good size lengths from that, and there was a little bit of scrap left over. So I'll just show you. By the way, that the shoe rack, it's called Whitmore. Okay, bringing organisation home. That's the brand of the shoe rack. I actually seen them in on an American site, and then I had a look within Australia, and I could only find one that I could get in Australia. And look, it wasn't cheap. It was about, I think it was about $59, which is, to me, was a little bit expensive, but it was the only alternative I could see that I could come up with that I didn't have to build myself, and I had to do very little but put these noodles on to finish it. Alright, so what I did was measure my puppet from the head. I just sat the pool noodle up in the puppet and measured roughly how much I wanted that to go. And so I've got one done here, and I just measured that against all the rest of the noodles, and I just used a Stanley knife to measure that off and cut the noodle. Okay, and then I'm going to put a slit about the length of that wire piece that goes on the shoe. Okay, I'm going to cut a slit up the noodle, and I'm just measuring here off the other one. I'll just go down like that, and then flip it over the opposite side and cut another slit. I then went ahead and just cut off that the corner on one end, just so it goes up easily inside the head of the puppet. You don't have to do that, it's just me being fussy. Alright, so here's my puppet rack on the back of the door. It's a sliding door, and you can see there the middle ones, these 2 that I've got here, they have the pool noodle going up into the head, and the ones lower down that their heads are dragging, they are only on the rack itself. Okay, and the top ones, I haven't got any pool noodles on that yet. So I've got these 2 sitting on the rack that's got the pool noodles attached to it. So I'm just going to show you how I've attached those noodles. Okay, so this is how I've attached this pool noodle onto the shoe rack, and like I said, I've taken up 3 of these shoe sort of holders to hold 1 puppet. So I'm going to put this pool noodle onto the middle of those 3, and I've cut the slit up there, so I'm just going to push that slit over that middle connection there, and I'll put just some long cable ties that I bought from the cheap shop, and I'm just going to tighten that up then with the cable tie and clip that off. Okay, and that's going to hold my puppet on. I'll just put a puppet on and show you what I mean. Alright, so just thread it on and just guide that pool noodle up into the head. like that, and just push it over those. Like that. Alright, and then go ahead and do all the rest of these like that, and then I'll come back and show you what the rack looks like. Alright, so here's the rack with all the noodles attached. And what I did up here was just put some little felt dots here and down here where it touches the door. I just didn't want the door to get all scratched. It just actually hangs over the door, the holder. And what I was thinking when I was doing this is that, you know, puppet bodies aren't always the same width. So you may have a puppet that only fits over 2 of these shoe racks here, and that's okay. You could attach the noodle in the middle of that if you only have a puppet that is the width of the 2. All my puppets seem to be the width of the 3, so that's why I've set it up this way. But you could easily move it around by just taking off the cable tie and readjusting that with the pool noodle somewhere else. Alright, so this is the finished puppet storage rack. I've got all the pool noodles on and put all the puppets on. All these puppets are Aboriginal puppets, like I've mentioned in the last videos, or the brown ones are, and they're all going to one school, so they all won't be there soon. I've just put them all on there so that I can fiddle with their hair and that, because I still haven't got any of that on. And I'm going to cover every 2 puppet in a large plastic bag so they don't get dusty. And here's a quick shot with some dust covers on. The ones up the top I've just shoved 2 in, like in the crack there, because I had a couple spare. Now all these puppets are now off my bench. They're out of the way where I'm not going to have to move them all the time, because you might have seen in some of my papercraft videos how small this front room is. Alright, so I hope you've enjoyed that idea and it's inspired you. I know the rack was a little bit expensive, but when I look at this all done and I realise how much storage I've got on the back of that door, I'm really happy, and it was well worth the money. And by the way, it wasn't that expensive in America. I've seen it for about $15 in America, and they wouldn't post it to Australia. So obviously that's why I paid more for it here. So yeah, so I hope that gives you some ideas how to store your puppets. And it's always really difficult because they're bulky, especially when you've got the foam in them, and yeah, what to do with them. Okay, so thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.